Certainly feeling like James Bond after wearing this epic Casio Royale for the last 1 week straight. So let's jump into my review. And at the end of the video, you're going to have the opportunity to help me decide on my next watch of the week. So stick around. We're going to kick things off with 2 hidden features of this watch that you probably didn't even know existed. First up, I figured out how to access the secret LCD test. So you just hold down all 3 of these buttons and check it out. Every single LCD panel is lit up. And what I thought was really cool about this in particular is the world map, because you can now see every possible subdivided area. I learned about a second feature not in the instruction manual from a viewer comment from Hans, who let me know that if you hold down the bottom right button for 4 seconds, you'll hear a beep. And we are now cycling through the 4 different time zones we have set in world time mode. How cool is that? Let's have a look at some quick footage of the last week to see what I've been putting this watch through and what it can handle. I have thoroughly enjoyed wearing this AE-1200 each day in a variety of everyday situations. I of course wore it on all my daily walks, daily showers, and a couple of beach volleyball games. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to smash that like button. I am very aware that this Casio watch is not a G-Shock, though I did subject it to 2 full games of beach volleyball, and let's have a look if there was any wear and tear. I have noticed an accumulation of grains of sand along the case back on both sides of the watch and also on top of the front bezel. However, just know that this is not something that's going to affect the water resistance rating or any other functionality of the watch. Now you do have to be careful with the lens of this model, because as you can see I have accumulated a very minor scratch here, and that's because the lens is made of acrylic instead of mineral. So I would recommend getting a screen protector. I've got one that's on the way, and if you want to get your hands on one, I'll be leaving a link for you below. I'll also leave you a link to this cool titanium toothpick, which I actually got in a recent AliExpress order with a bunch of cool gadgets for just $3 each. So I'll leave a link to that video for you above as well. I also had a number of nice comments about this watch over the last 1 week. My brother and his partner said that the watch looked fancy and cool, and they were wondering what the silver buttons did. They mentioned that it looked a bit like an old school Apple Watch, and I must admit I can kind of see that. But they were most impressed by the map feature, especially when I told them that it swaps the map with the time zone and actually corresponds on the little display. And they were like, whoa, this must be a great travel watch. My bro then followed up and asked, can it do daylight savings time? And was really impressed when I said, yep, easily. And this feature has been incredibly useful to me because I've actually been collaborating with someone who lives in America. So I've set my world time to New York City. So at the press of a single button, I can now see what time it is for him and know whether it's a reasonable hour to reach out for correspondence. And in our last meeting, he let me know that daylight savings time had started. So all I did was hold down the top left button for a second, and just like that, it's updated the time zone. Now I wanted to show you the alarm, so listen to this. I'm going to bring that close to the mic. Now, one thing I will have to admit about this alarm is that I did not wake up for it, and I did when I did the likes of the F91W, so I'm not sure whether this alarm is just a little bit quieter or whether I was just extra sleepy, but this alarm does not work for me. And speaking of the F91W, which was our first watch of the week, I do have to talk about its comparison in terms of comfort. So this watch is extremely comfortable, although I will admit it is not quite as comfy as the F91W. However, it is a little bit comfier than the B5600, which was our other watch of the week. But it's not just about comfort, is it, guys? What about coolness? In fact, I'd love to know which of our 3 watch of the weeks you think has been the coolest so far. We had some fantastic comments on last video's question, which was, when do you wear your AE-1200? Richard T said he likes wearing his Casio Royale while watching Bond movies. How fitting. And Gurmunda mentioned he wears his AE-1200 while doing outdoor activities like camping. Those are 2 awesome use cases, guys. So if you'd like to get your hands on this striking, awesome, classic Casio watch, I'm leaving a link for you in the description below, and we'd be glad to have you on board as a fellow special agent. Now, here's the part where you come in, because I've got these two awesome brand new watches and I don't know what to wear next. On the left, we have the classic calculator watch, the CA-53W, and that one didn't quite make it against the AE-1200 in last time's poll. And on the right, we have the W217H, a viewer suggestion as a better alternative to the famous F91W. So it would be interesting to compare them. To have your say, I've put together a community poll. To access it, just head over to my Goat Reviews YouTube profile and click on the community tab. And in there you'll see the poll and you'll be able to cast your vote. And if you'd rather leave the voting up to everyone else, that's cool too, but leave us a like to show your support. By the way, I really love hearing from you guys, so I've just put together a Discord server for us. So if you've got any suggestions, questions, comments, or you even just want to have a chat, that's the place to be. I'll leave a link for you in the description below. And if you've never used Discord before, there's nothing to be intimidated about. It's very easy to set up an account, it's completely free, and it allows you to either chat by typing or by voice chat if you'd prefer. So I'll see you there. I'm leaving you with our Watch of the Week playlist, as well as another suggested review that you're not going to want to miss. Do make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so that you don't miss having your valuable vote count towards our next Watch of the Week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.